Hey folks, welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to make this medallion right here that you'll hopefully wear during graduation ceremony. All right, the first thing we're going to want to do to get started is to come on up to File, and we're actually going to open the Tiger logo template that you hopefully downloaded from Blackboard. Okay, so go ahead and open that up. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and start a new 2D sketch, and we're going to start a sketch right here on the XY plane. To make the overall diameter of our medallion, we're going to grab our circle tool, and right around here in the middle of the tiger face here, we're going to drag out a circle that's with a diameter of 2.9 inches. Okay, now we got to center our logo, and if you look back, our logo is kind of at the bottom of our medallion, so we got to move some stuff around here. Okay, so let's count up the dimension. So our origin here, we're going to dimension it from the center of our circle a distance of 0.5 inches. Once again, we're going to dimension from our origin here to the center of our circle, and we're going to make that distance 0.2 inches. Okay, let's go ahead now and finish our sketch. And we're going to extrude outwards the other direction, and we're going to make the thickness now of our medallion 0.22 inches. Let's go ahead and hit OK. All right, starting to look more and more like a medallion here. Now we're going to go ahead and add some decorative features on the surface of our medallion that we'll later engrave. So let's go ahead now and start a 2D sketch on the surface. We're going to project some geometry here. First thing we want to do is go ahead and project the geometry of our logo, of our outer circle here. Okay, and then we're going to offset that. Each of these lines we're going to offset 0.1 inches. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and project the geometry of our overall medallion diameter here, so that the whole perimeter here now is yellow. And we're going to offset that a distance of 0.1 as well. Now we're going to come up here to our trim tool, and we're just going to go ahead now and remove some lines here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dimension this guy right here. Okay, so now when we go to engrave it, we're going to make this really cool circle that's going to trace this purple line here. Okay, let's go ahead and finish our sketch. All right, so we're looking pretty good here. Now, the next thing we need to do is to make our little loop feature at the top of our medallion so we can hang it around our necks. So let's go ahead now and start a 2D sketch right here. We're going to grab our circle tool again. And right here at the top of our medallion here, we're going to drag out a circle with a 0.6 inch diameter. Okay, and I'm going to kind of center it here. Then we're going to drag out another circle and just kind of make it oh yay big for now. And then we're going to dimension this thickness here, this distance here to be 0.09. All right, and then we're going to grab our arc tool. We're going to come here, and I'm going to zoom in so for accuracy, and I'm going to make sure our constraint pops up. And then we're good. I'm going to go ahead now and trim that guy and that guy. And then we're going to dimension that. Oop. Actually, no, I know what we need to dimension. So we need to give it a reference dimension here from our origin. And there we're good. All right, now let's go ahead now and finish our sketch. and we're going to extrude that guy the other way, the same thickness of our medallion, 0.22 inches. Hit OK. All right. Now we're going to go. This is a good rule of thumb for engineers. You might be tempted as an engineer to say, "Hey, we're done. This looks fine," but as an engineer, you always have to keep in mind the limitations of the machines that are making your product. So by putting some fillets here now, our end mills can machine this. So we're going to go ahead now and put a fillet, 0.125 fillet here, right here, and right there. Go ahead and hit apply. And then on the inside here of our medallion, we're going to add another fillet, and instead of 0.125, it's just going to be 0.1, and we're going to get one there and right there. Hit apply and cancel. Okay, looks pretty good. The last thing we need to do now is to add text to the surface of our metal here, our medallion. So what we want to do now is go ahead and start a 2D sketch on the surface, and we're going to grab our text tool, and we're just going to draw out a square yay big here on the surface. All right, and what you need to do now is put your name there. I'm just going to write your name to remind you. So we'll have your name there, and below that we're going to write RHS Engineering, and then we're going to hit enter, program graduate. And then we're going to highlight that text, and we're going to center it. And I'm actually going to make it about 0.14. You may want to use a different size. I will say this, I'm going to use a different font. I like to use Felix Tilling because I think it sort of complements the metal and makes it look nice. So you are welcome to use whatever font you want to use. However, I will say this, when we go to machine it and engrave the text, not all fonts will work. So if you do go with another font, um, I would suggest selecting one of the more common ones, okay? Because the common ones seem to work pretty well. So in this case, you got your name here. You got RHS Engineering Program Graduate, all right? And adjust the font size as necessary. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And if you look at it, it's not centered. So we need to go in and now add some dimensions to get this guy centered. So I'm going to click this top line, and I'm going to click our origin here, and I'm going to dimension it from that. So I want to bring it down. So I'm going to try 0.6 and see what that does. Okay, that looks pretty good. But if you notice now, our P here is kind of off to the left more than our E. So I want to try to center it a little bit better. So I'm going to click on our origin again and click on this side, and I want to bring it a little bit more to the right. So to do that, I'm going to basically decrease this distance. Let's try 1.35. See what that looks like. And a little too much. Now I have a bigger gap here and a smaller gap here, so I'm going to just go with 1.3, or I'm sorry, 1.4. And that looks pretty good. I might try a little 1.41. Okay, and that looks good. So fool around with it. You might have to kind of, you know, adjust these dimensions and mess with the font size to get your name in here and to get all this text in here. But play around with it, and hopefully you'll come up with something that looks nice. So I'm going to go ahead now and finish our sketch. The last thing we want to do now is assign a material here for our medallion. And you probably guessed it, there is one for brass. Not brass 360, which is what we're machining them out of, but so we'll go with brass soft yellow, okay. And I haven't used any of these. Brass satin, it already kind of gives you a color here. So Um, yeah, I like the brass satin. That looks a little bit better here. So I'm going to go back to that. All right, and that's it. Your medallion is done. In the next video, we'll go ahead and start machining this medallion so you can hopefully wear it for graduation. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.